Well, hi everyone. I'd like to welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to do something really simple. This is in honor of Valentine's Day. We're going to make a heart, and in the middle of the heart we're going to put a crystal ball. So anyway, I've got some things laid out here, so let's bring them into the picture here. Here's the heart we're going to make. I made the outline here up on the computer, and I've added some cut lines here for some breaks for our glass. We're going to do this outside edge here. It's going to be done in a water glass. It's a bright red, and we're going to run all the directions of the glass up and down on it. Underneath here, when I made this copy, I also made a copy on a regular manila folder here. And what we're going to do, we're going to just take and pull this back. And we're going to set this right in here like this. Just to set this in here like this. And we're going to take and tape it down. Just a couple tape marks here. Then we're going to put a piece of carbon paper in here. I'm going to pull this back over. And we'll tape it down so it doesn't get away from us. And then what I'm going to do right here, I'm going to take and trace these lines to our pattern piece. And I'm just going to take and put a straight edge here. Just draw these up like this. So this will give us a cut line for what we're going to cut these at. And then, so you can see this is going to be a real simple project. Got one there, one there. Okay, we'll get these two right here in the center. This will be our center line for our project. Right here, right here. Right here, we're going to put a hanger. And then right here, we're going to put a smaller one. And we're going to hang our crystal ball. Here's what the crystal ball is going to look like. Get it here. So this will be our crystal ball. So it's going to hang in here, right in the center of our heart. So this ought to be a fun project to make. So before we take this apart, though, we're going to do a couple things to it. One, let's come up here and we'll number these. Like I said, this is a real simple one. This is going to be for everybody can make this one, beginners, everybody. So let's just start to number this. We'll make this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, number 8. And since I said we want to make this all go the same direction, we're going to take our little blue T-square that we've used over and over and over, and we're going to set it in here like this. And I'm just going to make some quick marks down like this. If you watched any of my other videos, you've seen us do this before. This just gives us a guide, so when we put this down on our glass, we'll know that we're going down on it straight. Okay, we'll come over here and get one right here. If you don't do this, then you'll have your glass turning all different directions. And when you're putting it together here on your work table, it will look fine. But when you finally go to hang it up, you'll see that they're going all different directions, and you won't be happy with your project. So mark the arrows here. Just go ahead and put a little arrow on the point on them. So we'll move along here. Then I'll go offline and finish this all up. After we go offline, I'll cut these all apart and we'll have all of our pieces. So here's what it's going to look like on the pattern. Pull this off, lift this up, and we'll pull this over. And here's our pattern now. So we'll cut out on all these lines right here. The black lines represent our lead lines. And so I'll get this cut apart and we'll get ready to make this. All right, well, we're back. We got our pattern all cut out now. And I changed my mind on the glass. I said we are going to use that red water glass. I found this nice piece of red, has kind of a granite finish on it. So I think we're going to do that instead. I think that'll give the heart a little bit of character, because it's not a very difficult project, so it kind of needs to be spiced up a little bit. So anyway, here again, we're going to cut on the smoothest side of the two. Obviously, this is the side we're going to do. So since we're going to do that, our pattern, we're going to have to turn it over. And what I've done is on the back side of these, I've taken and shown the direction of the glass and the number here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to push these out of the way. I'm going to start with these two big ones here to start with. And we're just going to take a regular glue stick, and we're just going to take and we're going to take and just glue these down on the glass. If you wanted to, you could just trace around these, which would be just fine too. So we're going to put it on here just like this, with the arrows following the direction of our grain. So when you're putting your glass down, when you do follow the grain direction, there's some glass that's wasted because you need to be able to get them spaced out going the right direction. So keep that in mind. And you want to remember when you're putting these on here, how you're going to cut these out. So like for instance, we could just take a cut up here. Maybe we can get a little one in here. Let's see what we got here. Maybe one of these guys. No, that won't work. So we're kind of limited on what we can put in here. This one will work here. It's going to sit in here like this. That'll give us kind of a limited amount of wasted space right here. So we'll just take and put it down. So anyway, you can space these all out. Remember, leave room so that you can get them cut out. Don't want to make any real crooked, sharp bends or so forth that you can't cut. So anyway, I'll go offline and get the rest of these put on here, and then when we come back, we'll show you how we're going to cut them out. So we'll be back in a second. All right, we're back. We got everything all stuck down on our glass now. So I think what we're going to do is just take a cut right down the middle here, and we'll take and break these away from each other. So we'll take and score this like that. We'll just take it here and snap it. Set that aside. And this one here, I think what we're going to do, we're going to come right down this edge here. We'll use this edge right here. And we're going to kind of curve this right here. Come down here, we can take and pull that apart. And then we just take right here. We'll take this first one right here. I'm not going to cut this all the way. Let's cut this right here. And we'll come across the top here and we'll cut these out here. If you don't want to snap that like that, you can use your running pliers like right here. We'll just go right around this edge right here. Rather than take and pop that out with your hand, just take your running pliers and stick it in here and snap that off of there. Same way here, just put your running pliers in here and just take and pop that off. Now this is a fairly soft curve here, so that should probably snap out all right. We'll keep an eye on it though. So there's our first piece. That's number 3. I won't cut all these online, so just going to give you an idea how to get it cut out here. So we'll bring this up here into the camera area here. And we can finish these pieces off. We'll go around them with a real light grinding on each piece here. Can bring it back to our pattern piece. So I'll go offline and finish cutting all these up, and I'll take them and put them on the grinder and clean them up just a little bit to match our pattern. And then we'll come back and we'll lay them into our project, and then we'll show you how we're going to let it up. As I said before, this is a real simple project. It's not going to take us very long to get this one made. Probably the most difficult part of it is to pick a glass that you like and get it cut out for yourself. So we'll be back, and we'll get ready to put the lead in it. All right, we're back. We got our pieces all cut now. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our U-cane. This is RU70. So we're going to wrap around the inside here, and we're going to put the smooth side in. So we're going to take all of these pieces apart here. So we're just talking about, I've taken, actually numbered them on the back here so we won't get confused if we get lost here a little bit. So we get all these out of here. And then I'm going to take my push pins here. And I'm going to come to the inside of my line here, and I'm going to take and push these down. Not all the way down, but just down just a little bit here. Because there's nothing to hold this U-cane in here until we start to put the glass in it. So we're going to come around here. So we're going to start here, and we're going to end up over here. Here's where we're going to put our little hanger. So first thing we're going to do, we need to make this radius here. And if you've followed any of my other videos, you'll notice I always grab something to help shape the cane to get started here. So I have a little cup here. So we're going to put this U-cane on this cup. And we're just going to pull it around here, just like this. That'll get us started here on our journey on around here. So this will take a little bit of fooling around with here to get this exactly where you want it. So we got to come on around a little bit more here. Guess it'd be smart if I put it on the right side. Here we go. So I bent that in just a little bit too far. If you have a real sharp corner, kind of like right here, you can take your grozing pliers and just stick it in here and give your cane just a little bit of a push down here to help you. There we go. It comes around. Pull it on around here just a little bit. Don't get too rambunctious with this and kink it. Keep it nice and smooth. Okay, that's right where we want, right there. Okay. And now, right here, we'll pull this pin out of here just a little bit. Right here, we're going to take and we're going to mark that. Just take your little Sharpie here, and we're going to mark it how we want to cut that. And down here, we're going to do the same thing. We want those two to come together. This piece of lead U-cane was about 9.5 inches long. We could have got away with a little bit shorter. So, but we're going to start with that one. So now we're going to pull this out. And we're going to come up here. We'll take our lead shears. We can cut this right there. And then we just take and we can cut this back. Kind of on a 45 like that. And we'll do the same thing here. Take and cut it. And this needs to go back this way. Just about like that. So we'll sit that in here like that. This comes around close here. That's what we want. So we'll put a couple pins on this side now. And one more on this side. Like that. Then we're going to take our other piece here. We're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to put it on our little cup here. Pull it around nice and smooth. Don't let it get kinked up. Come back in here and put some more pins down here so we have something to lean up against. So this just takes a little bit of time to get this first one in. The outside one is easy to do because it's already going to be on the outside. And you can just wrap it around with the glass as it comes down around. This one's a little trickier because you don't have anything to lean it up against right now. So now we're going to set this in here. So it needs to be cut. We're going to cut this right on a 45 right here. Because we want this to line up. As you can see, this needs to come way over as far as the bin goes. Like I say, be careful with this. Don't get it kinked up. Okay, we're getting close to what we're looking for right here. So this is going to come on around now. Just take and bend it on around. A little bit more. All right, so that looks good here. This looks good right here. So you want these two to come together and make a 45 right here. So that's good. Now the next trick right here is that we want to make these two here come together down here. So what I'm going to recommend that you do is these here, this one here needs to be trimmed just a little bit more. It's not, I don't know if you can see this, but it's not straight. It's cut, it's off to the edge here. There we go. That's better. And it's lifted up just a little bit, so push it down. You want it to be nice, tight fit like that. Okay, so as this comes around here, you can take and put a pin right here. Pull it on around. Now this one here, we're gonna cut this a little bit long to start with, just because we want to be sure when we come into this section right here, we want it to fit nice and tight. So I'm going to take and cut this about right here. And I already know that's going to be a little bit long, but then we'll trim back to it so that we can get that where we want it. So I'm going to take this and you're going to cut it right here. Get up here in front of everybody. Then we're going to turn this over and we're going to cut this onto like a 45 right here. That's not quite 45. That's better. Okay, you can see that it's still a little bit too long right here. This needs to be bent just a little bit more in. Need to make it a little bit better 45 than that one. That looks better. Take your time getting this fitted where you want to, because This is the basis for our whole project right here, this little guy right here. I think that's going to work right there. Got to make the lines as smooth flowing as possible. Don't get them all jerky. Okay, so we got this basic lead in here now. So that's where we're going to start with. Right here now is where we're going to put our little hanger going down here so we can hold our crystal ball in here. And we're going to make the hanger out of this little tiny cotter pin. This is a 16th inch cotter pin, 3/4 of an inch long. And if you watch the other videos, what we're going to do, we're going to put it so that it's sticking out like here. And we're going to bring these legs back underneath, hidden underneath the U-came here. So we'll get a pair of long nose pliers here. And I guess I should have got my tubing. I have a little bit of brass tubing here. This is a little piece of brass tubing. It's 3/32 across the opening here. And what we're going to do with that, we're going to take this, put your long nose pliers in the loop, and pull this around, and I'm going to curve this out here just a little bit like that. This will take a little bit of work to get this to fit exactly where we want it, so take your have a little patience with this. Kind of like that, okay? So this is going to go in here inside the cane. And what I'm trying to do here now is I'm trying to match up my cotter pin with the shape of the cane right here. So that's going to go in there like that. This one here has to come down a little bit more. All right, well, we're in the part of the video here where we're going to put our little cotter pin right in here for our hanger. So yeah, you take out your pieces here, and you can see here I've notched this on both sides. This one here I've already notched, so I've notched this one here. So put your lead U-cane back in here, line it up right here, nice and straight here. Push it down. Take a couple pins here and pin it up against these pins here. And then what we're going to do, we're going to spot solder this real quick. And that'll keep this all from moving around so we don't end up with a whole bunch of moving parts here. So we're just going to take it and we're going to flux it just a little bit here. And we're just going to put a little tiny bit of solder. We're going to take our iron. We're just going to tin it just a little bit. Just about like that. We're just going to set it on here real quick. Just like that. Just enough here to hold it. Just like that. So we don't need to do the other side. We'll just leave it just like that. And now our cotter pin, which we've kind of pre-shaped here a little bit, it's going to go in here. And we want it to go just about like that, where it goes on the inside, follows the cane around. So take a pair of tweezers and just take and push it down in here. Insert it in through here where the slots are at. Takes a little bit of fooling around with. Here you go. Whoop, had it in there and let it get away. There it goes. Okay, here comes your cotter pin right here. Just take and put a pin in it, pull it out nice and straight, and pin it down. And so that gets that all tied together now with your cotter pin in here. So now we're ready to start here on the top, and we'll build around with our glass. I made a couple other changes. I know we changed the style of glass we're using, but we're also going to change where we said we were going to put a hanger right here in the middle. I took a look at that. It's going to be almost impossible to make our cotter pin work here because it would have to come in here and then bend up real sharp to come back around. So we're going to come out to here to these two break points, and we're going to use two hangers with a split chain coming off of it. So we're going to come out to here. So what I've done is I cut some new glass here and I ground this back here. This will be where the legs of the cotter pins are going to go. So we'll insert one of these right here, just like that. And we'll just take a little piece of our old U-came and stick in here. Push it down. And then we're going to have to make a little piece of H-came to come down here. It'll line up right in there just like that. And here's our other piece right here. It's been cut back also. I have to move this one out of the way here. Get them lined up so that this is right there in the point here. So you can see where it's lined up. That looks good right there. These two are right good here. Okay, we'll take and put another little, whoop, we don't want to do that. Stick one in here. So if all these things want to try to get away from you, take and pin them until you get ready to put the next piece of glass in here. There we go. Because I want this to be right here in the center where it lines up nice and straight. And we're going to take one more of our little pieces of old U-came, stick in here. Stick it down here to hold that. So there's the first part of our glass here. You can see the gap that's right here. That's where the legs of our cotter pin will go, and we'll put one here and one right here. That way we'll have a little better place to put the cotter pins, and they'll follow the contour around on these two edges here. So we'll go offline and we'll fill this all back in, and then when we come back, we'll go ahead and show you how we're going to wrap this up and how we're going to put these cotter pins in out here. And then we'll solder the rest of it up and it'll be all done. So we'll be back in a minute. We're back. I got all the glass stuck in here now. So now it's time to make our hangers. They're going to go here and here. This piece right here, going to have to grind it back a little bit so that you can get your cotter pin in here. I've already ground these two back. So what we're going to do, we'll take our cotter pin again. I'll get up here so you can see it here. If you've watched any of my other videos, we've done this over and over and over. There actually is a video showing how to use the cotter pin as a hanger. If you haven't looked at it, you might want to check it out, see if it might be something you might want to try. But anyway, we're using a 3/32 steel zinc-plated cotter pin. This happens to have an 1.5 inch long leg. You could get away with one as short as an inch if you wanted to. And we're going to take a piece of brass tubing, has a little 3/32 hole in here, and we're going to set this in here, and we're going to pull this out to 90 degrees like that. Then we're going to just take and turn it over, put it in here, and we're going to do the same thing here. We'll pull it out here. So it kind of looks like that. Now, what we're going to do with this is we're going to take it. Sometimes when you do this, they get a little bit of pull out. Push that back together a little bit. And what we're going to do is this is going to fit in here like this. But we need, as you can see here, we need to curve it around. So we're just going to take it with our fingers here. We're just going to kind of curve it around here. Just move it around. You just take and you can just hold it in here like this. See how you're doing here. We don't need near this long a leg here, so you can take your long nose pliers, or if you have a pair of wire cutters, you can just take and cut this off. And I'm going to usually cut it off about 1 inch long, about like that. Same way with here. So we want this to sit in here, and we want it to go right up against the glass. This little piece of U-came here is kind of messing us up here a little bit here. Just pull this down here. There we go. So this is going to fit in here just like that. This needs to go around just a little bit more here. Pretty close to what we're looking for right here. This is going to fit in here like that. A little bit more. I think that'll work. So then we're going to go ahead and we'll get ready and we'll do one for this side here. And then we'll go ahead and we'll start to wrap this with our U-came to go around. And we'll start right here at the middle with a 45. We'll come up here and then we're going to split it right here. And I'll show you what we're going to do with it. So we'll be back in a second. We'll get that all set up. Okay, so I got our hangers all made now. So here's how they're going to look right here. So we're going to have two of them. There's going to be one here. And here's the other one right here. It's going to go right here. So when we come back, we'll take and we'll cut a piece of U-came that goes from here and right to the middle of here. We'll put a notch in it, and then we'll go all the way around and all the way around, and we'll end up over here at this end here with a 45. Then we'll go ahead and solder it all together. We can put our crystal ball in it, and the project will be done. So we'll be back in just a second. Okay, well, we're back. About time to finish this project up now. So we've already pre-bent our hangers here. So the next thing we're going to do, we cut a piece of U-came here. And this is the one, we've cut it on a 45 here. We cut it here with a notch to line up with this piece of H-came right here. And we're going to insert that in here like this. Pull this down here till it lines up. And then we're going to take this into the cotter pin, pull this out just a little bit so you can get it in here. And just set it in here, slide it in just like that. And then we're going to take and we're going to put a pin in it right here. Then we're going to come over on the other side. We're going to do the same thing. We have the same shape here. Pull that out. Take this and slide it over. This is going to come in and make a 45 to line up on our point right here. And we'll pull this out just a little bit, and we'll take and we'll put our cotter pin in here, just like that. Close that up. There we go. Push this all down tight. Take a look at this center one here. Make sure it's where you want it. And now from here, okay, so now we're going to get to wrap the rest of this. So here's our U-came again. It's going to fit in here like this. It looks like we need to cut it on just a little bit of an angle. Although it's pretty straight right there. This does need to have just a little bit of a bend right here. So I'm going to just give it with my grazing pliers. And I'm just going to help it down just a little bit. Kind of like that. Move this pin out. Set this right in here. Take and pin it. Then we're just going to take and we're going to just take and wrap this right around. Just push it right around. Take and pin it as you go so it doesn't get away from you. And when we get down here to the bottom here, we're going to mark this and we're going to cut it at a 45. So bring this on around. And when you get right here, we're going to take and we're going to mark this right here. We can take and cut this on the table, or we can take it back off of here if we want to. I think we're going to take it off. Just be careful, don't let anything jump off and move out of the way here. So we're going to just take our lead dikes right here and we're going to cut it right here. And then we're going to take and we're going to cut this on a 45 right there. That looks pretty good right there. So now we'll set this back in. Push this down good. Make sure you push it up here tight. Okay, bring it on around. And we want it to quit right there, so that came out just perfect. So we'll pin this on down. Just like that. Got a little bit of a gap right here, but that'll be okay. We'll solder that shut. So we're going to do the same thing on this side now. See if we can get this lined up a little bit better than that last one. Here again, we're going to cut this on a little bit of an angle. Going to take and notch it. We're notching this so it gives our cotter pin some place to come through, is what we're doing here. Here again, we'll give it just a little bit of a pre-bend right here. And we'll move this pin out. Set this in here. We want to let this hanger be in the middle, just like that. Want to be in the middle of the line here. You can push this in just a little bit. Take a little time here getting this fitted in here so it fits nice and tight. If you have a little bit of a gap, you'll be all right. The solder will go ahead and take care of that. Okay, here we go. Go on around now. Okay, we're going to move it up here. And now we come to the end here, so now we're going to cut this on a 45 also. So I marked that. I'm going to cut this one here on the table. We'll have to end up just like that right there. Okay, you can run around and make any final little adjustments you want on it here. This looks pretty good here. This one here is a little bit goofy looking here. I think we'll be okay with that one. Okay, and this one here kind of pulled out a little bit too. All right. Let's take and pull this out here like that. Okay. Okay, from here now, we're all ready to solder this up. So we'll go ahead and get our little stainless steel brush here. We're going to take and hit all our joints here. Just kind of knock off any oxidation that we might have on here. And then we'll get our iron out, get our flux. Take and flux this all up right here. Okay. Check and make sure we got everybody lined up where we want it. If you have one that's not quite on point, you can kind of push it over a little bit. That looks pretty good. All right. Take and check your iron on a old piece of U-came here so that you don't have a heat spike on it and burn a hole in your project before you get started. I'm using a 60-40 solder here. We're just going to take and tin the iron just a little bit. And we'll just start right here. Come right here to the middle one here again. Just go around and solder these all up nice. Here we go. Come back up to this one here again and just hit it a little bit. A little better looking solder. All right, look at all your solder joints. Make sure you got what you're looking for here. This one here is not any good. We got to fix this one right here. Here we go. Okay. Now, we'll just take all these pins out. We'll just take and turn our project upside down. Straighten up any edges right here. This is kind of hanging over right here. I'm just going to take my dikes. I'm going to just trim that flat right there. Just like that. Okay. So this looks all pretty good. Here's a, right here we could kind of push this in just a little bit. This one here came out perfect right there, so we're good. So I'll go offline. Here's our little hanger here for our crystal ball. I'll go offline and finish soldering this up. I'll get it all cleaned up, and then we come back in. We'll hang our crystal ball on it. We'll put a chain on it, and we'll be done with the project. So we'll be back in a second here. All right, we're back. We got it all cleaned up here now. So there's a couple other things we need to do here. One is we're going to come in here and we're going to solder around our hangers here. Probably going to solder this joint right across here. This one, this little one here. And then down here at the bottom, I'm going to fill this gap in here, and I'll clean that up so that it's all closed up. So anyway, to do these, I'll show you how we're going to do. This little tiny one that's in here, we could solder around it, but it looks fine. I'm just going to leave it like it is. It can't get out because the legs are going back up underneath here. So all in all, it came out very nice. Pretty happy with it. So we're going to set this in our vise here to hold this up. And we'll just take and put a little bit of pressure on it just to hold it up straight. Down here in the middle here, right down in here, I think I will solder that one shut just to have it closed up. So we'll go ahead and we'll take and flux up those areas. So we'll just flux up right there, and then around the hanger here. These are never going to get out of there because they're underneath, the legs are running back underneath this cane, but it just makes it kind of finished off, helps it make a little bit nicer looking job. So we're just going to put put a little solder on here, and I'm just going to take and hold it on here until it just drops off. There you go. Could use a little bit Let's take and turn this just a little bit on an angle here, a little bit like that. There we go. That's a little better looking. That one looks all right there. So let's turn this around. We'll get the other two sides here. So this is really more cosmetic looking than anything else. It's not going to get away. Just let it flow right off. Get a little bit more on that one. Just kind of give it a little bit of better look. And right here in the middle, I'm just going to put just a little bit on my iron. I'm just going to let it sit right in here. And just do it just like that. We'll do the same thing down here at the bottom here. Close that off. And then here, we'll do like we've done on all the other projects, the solar lights and all those others. We'll take and close that up, and I'll put it on some 80 grit sandpaper, and I'll just knock it off till it's smoothed out. All right. So the next time you see it, we'll get the crystal ball out and hang it in here. It's just a little solder joint up right here. Not too crazy about that one. So I just kind of clean that up a little bit. And then we'll be done with the project. We'll put a chain on it, and we'll hang it up and take a look at it. All right, we're out in the backyard now. We got the project all done. So I put it on a mechanical spitter so you can see how it came out. So I'm really happy with the way everything worked out. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and we'll see you on the next one. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Thank you.